Hoot. Hey, what's up everybody? I'm here with kind of a little different video this time. So I actually have 6 packs of Magic the Gathering cards that I want to open. So I've been playing for not quite a year, or maybe right around a year now, mostly on Magic Arena. I put off opening Magic cards for 20 years. I think I avoided it. I wanted to, I just didn't. And I finally did, and I really enjoy it. So I figured I might as well do an opening on here. So I have 1 pack from each of the last 3 sets that have come out. So we got Theros Beyond Death, Ikoria, Lair of Behemoths, and the Core Set 2021 that just came out. And then I've got 3 packs of Double Masters. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start opening these up. I'm going to start with Theros Beyond Death because that's the oldest set here. So I really like Theros Beyond Death. I think it's a pretty solid set. It adds a lot of pieces to some of the current decks that are really good. I don't think it's a great set. I thought Throne of Eldraine was a great set. I very much enjoyed that. I think Theros Beyond Death is a really solid set that has a lot of good game pieces, but not a perfect set. Anyway, we've got Aspect of Manticore, Omen of the Sun. Like, for example, the Omen series is a really good set of cards that's in Theros that really fits a lot of different gameplay styles. Deny the Divine, Relentless Pursuit, Blight Breath Catablepus, Mogus's Favor, Nylea's Huntmaster, Pious Wayfarer, Irreverent Revelers. Now onto the uncommons. We have Dawn Evangel, Furious Rise, Dream Shaper Shaman, and the rare is Erebos, one of the gods. I really like Heliod, the white god. I think is really good. The blue god, I can't think of her name off the top of my head. She's pretty good. Erebos is okay in the right deck. If you have stuff dying, it gives you some card draw, and you can sack your creatures to potentially take out some other creatures. So there's benefit to that. But so, you know, not a bad card. It's always nice to get a mythic rare in a single off pack like that. Oh, we got a foil full art mountain, and then we've got a full art forest, and we've got a goat. Always got to get the goat. So yeah, I think out of those that I can really think of, I've played with Erebos a decent amount. The other ones not so much. But you know, Erebos, decent card. You know, not a bad pull, and you know we're 1 pack, 1 mythic so far, so nothing wrong with that. So next we got Ikoria, Lair of Behemoths. I didn't really care much for this set. I thought the mutate mechanic is just odd. I don't necessarily think it's bad or devastating to the game. I just think it's weird. You know, I kind of feel like the mutate mechanic basically makes like simple decks that you might create. So like I'm not that experienced in the game, so when I make a deck, it's not overly complicated and it's fairly basic. Does, you know, a couple things reasonably well, but nothing great. And I think the mutate mechanic has cards that just completely kill those decks. But it also doesn't necessarily have a deck in it that dominates the whole standard right now. So, you know, it's kind of a weird thing, but you know, it's fun to play with. It's interesting. But so we got Ferocious Tigerilla, Checkpoint Officer, Deadweight, Thwart the Enemy, Patagia Tiger, Shredded Sails, Hampering Snare. And so like most of these cards that I mentioned so far, nobody plays with those that much. So a lot of the basic cards, the common cards in this set just don't get played. Evolving Wilds, of course, that always gets played. Not really. Blood Curl, decent card if you have the right deck for it. Trumpeting Gnar, one of the decent mutate creatures for uncommon. Costs a lot to mutate, but each time you mutate on it, you get a 3/3 beast creature token. So that's a good mutate payoff. Migration Path. Necropanther with the fancy art. That's kind of nice. So that's another One with the mutate, and whenever this creature mutates, return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So that can be very beneficial, and it's only 4 to mutate that versus 3 to hard cast it. So, not bad, and I like that additional art there. That's pretty cool looking. Oh, and we got one of the ultimatums. So coming in at rare, one of the ultimatums. So these cards, actually, the ultimatums, I think are really fun to play with. They're fun if you get them in limited, but in standard, they're fun to play with. They're not necessarily great to play with because it's kind of hard to get the mana for them. But like this one, so search your library for up to 3 mana-colored cards with different names and exile them. An opponent chooses one of those cards, shuffle that card into your library. You may cast the other cards without paying their mana cost. Essentially, you get 2 cards for free with this one. So that's pretty darn good. You get 2 of the 3 that you choose. So the ultimatum is definitely game-changing, but not the easiest thing to cast. We got a nice uncommon foil, Duskfang Mentor, not a card I believe I've played with. We got a mountain and a human soldier token. So, one of the ultimatums, and then we've got a mythic god so far, so not bad. Core 2021 now. Actually, I really have enjoyed the Core 21 cards. It's hard to say 2021 every time. The Core 21 cards, I've enjoyed playing with them so far. I think it's a solid core set. I think there's a lot of playables in there. It'll be interesting as the sets shift to see what happens as sets rotate. But and the cards in these packs are in a little bit different order. So we start off with the Angel token. We've got a land. We've got a foil forest, same one in foil. And then I believe this one goes straight into the rare, so we're just going to go straight into the rare. Okay, so Baron Talarian Archmage, decent rare card, nothing too crazy, but a solid card, solid playable card. So when he enters the battlefield, you return up to 1 other target creature planeswalker to its owner's hand, and at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent was put into your hand from the battlefield this turn, draw a card. So you potentially get some card draw out of it, or you can bounce your opponent's creature also. So, something decent there. Decent card. Uncommons, Epitaph Golem, Unleash Fury, Havoc Jester is a decent one. Skeleton, onto the commons, Skeleton Archer, Wall of Runes, Swift Response, Portcullis Vine, Deathbloom Thallid, Library Larcenist, Revitalize, Hobble Fiend, and Cancel. So, again, as you saw with a lot of those commons there, it's pretty standard fare, which works out great for a core set. But now, this is what I'm really waiting for. So, we've got the Double Masters packs. So, we've got 3 of them. All right. I also I printed out a list of some of the better cards in there because I'm not as familiar with all these to know what the great reprints are. I know Mana Crypt is a big one. What else are some of the big ones? Force of Will, I think, is the other big one out there. So let's see what we get here. So start off with the commons. We got Lightning Axe. That's pretty cool looking. Glaze Fiend. Crushing Vines. Skinbrand Goblin. Ikoria Wellspring or Ichor Wellspring. Parasitic Strix. Skinwing. Remember the Fallen. Now onto the uncommons. We got Auriok Salvagers, Dismantle, and Sarah Sphinx. And then the first rare is Goblin Guide. Not one of the best ones, but it has haste. Whenever Goblin Guide attacks, defending player reveals the top card of their library. If it's a land card, that player puts it into their hand. So that's kind of what you have to pay to be able to have a 2/2 with haste for 1 mana out there. And the next card is a rare. So we have Masarak, the Crawl Death Priest. So it's Golgari colors and flying. Whenever a player sacrifices another permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So that's pretty powerful if you can get that out in a sacrifice deck. And also, and it's whenever any player sacrifices another permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So that could really potentially take over the game. So not bad there. Might have to try to build a Golgari deck. I don't actually have one built right now, but might have to try. Then we've got a foil Argivian Restoration. Return target artifact from your graveyard to the battlefield. And another foil common, Clear Shot. And then we've got Tuk, the returned token artifact creature. A Goblin Golem Tuk, the returned is legendary. So we got a legendary token. So, not bad there. None of the super valuable rares or mythics there. I'll put the rare on top on this one. But we'll move on to the next pack. So we got 2 rares there, so no mythics yet. And so in case you were wondering, yes, Double Masters does come with 2 rares. So, or 2 rares or mythics in each pack. So we have Battle Rattle Shaman, Fierce Empath. It's a decent card that was in one of the, was that in Core 21 maybe? Executioner's Capsule, Cathartic Reunion, Volshock Gauntlets, Relic Runner, Costly Plunder, Fortify. Now uncommons, we got Master Splicer. That's a Golem payoff. Each golem you control has +1/+1. Invigorate and Golem Artisan. Then the first rare we have is Savage-Born Hydra. And it's a double strike and, standard Hydra stuff. And the next card is another rare, Swiftblade Vindicator. So 2 mana, 1/1, but has double strike, vigilance, and trample. So if you can build onto it, you can potentially get out of hand with that one. But nothing, not really a crazy rare on that one. So the first foil is common, Accomplished Automaton. And then we have an uncommon foil. We have Buried Ruin, which you can pay 2 and sack Buried Ruin, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. And then we've got a plant creature token. So, good. Put the rares on top there. And now for the last pack of Double Masters. Hopefully we get a mythic in this pack, would be nice since we've gotten 4 rares thus far. But let's see what we get. We have Bone Picker, Salivating Gremlins, Whisper of the Wilds, Revoke Existence, Vidalcan Infuser, Peace Strider, Urza's Mine, Sift. The first uncommon is the Throne of Geth, sack an artifact and proliferate. Then we've got Yavimaya Embrace and Ash Barrens, so basic land cycling 1. The first rare, we do get a mythic. We have Raikou of 2 Reflections. So it takes 2 generic, green, blue, and red. It's legendary creature, human wizard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may pay blue and red. If you do copy that spell, you may choose new targets. So it's kind of got a storm flavor to it. Not one of the more valuable mythics, but a mythic nonetheless. And then another mythic. So 2 mythic pack. We've got Sneak Attack. So that one actually, so on Card Kingdom's prices is like $12 or $13. So we got Sneak Attack, and you pay 1 red, and you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. That creature gains haste. Sack the creature at the beginning of the next end step. So it's kind of like throwing out a sacrificeable or a sacking token each time. So that's kind of cool. But you get the ETB effects and all that stuff. So actually, pretty cool card. Might have to try to throw that in a red deck, see what happens on our kitchen table. But so we'll put those on top. And then for the first foil, we've got a common Alabaster Mage. Target creature you control gains lifelink until end of turn. And the second is an uncommon, and we've got Esperzoa, so a jellyfish. And it has flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, return an artifact you control to its owner's hand. So if something with end of the battlefield effects, that could be very useful. And then we've got a copy token. So that's kind of cool. That might actually be useful. So yeah, nothing too terrible, nothing too crazy. So we got 2 mythics and double masters and 4 rares. Then in the other 2 packs, we ended up with 2 rares and a mythic. Got some pieces, might be able to play with. Got some stuff to build around. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's all. I'm not going to go on too much longer, but thanks for watching.